Welcome to another episode of Solotech. Today I will be giving a comprehensive test drive of the Oppo Reno 2Z or 2Z if you're an American. Today I will cover areas such as building design, hardware, software, features and of course the camera. You may ask, who are Oppo? Oppo are a Chinese company who are trying to position themselves as a premium brand, and this is clear through their advertising. For example, they currently sponsor the French Open Tennis Championships at Roland Garros in Paris. Between 2017 and 2019, they sponsored the Indian national cricket team, men and women. In 2019, they entered into a 5-year sponsorship deal with the All England Tennis Championships, also known as Wimbledon. So you can see the general trend. The Oppo Reno 2Z was released in September 2019 and it costs £329 new, which is about $440. I purchased the Oppo Reno 2Z in September 2020 for £238, which is just under $330. So, enough of the chat, let's get inside the box. As we can see, the phone comes with hidden in-screen fingerprint scanner, which is responsive. Also has Face ID and password to unlock the phone. In terms of the AMOLED screen, it's 6.5 inches diagonal, resolution 2340 by 1080. There's no notch, pinhole or camera. As a result, it has a 91% screen to body ratio, which is great for gaming and viewing content. In terms of the screen brightness, it comes in at 430 nits, and although it doesn't come over very clear in this footage, I can assure you the colors are bright, deep and bold. The phone came with a pre-installed screen protector, which was a nice touch. A protective case is advisable, but that's down to personal choice. This phone is also made of Corning Gorilla Glass 5, weighs 195 grams, which is heavy, but after a while of use, it's not noticeable. It also came with a 4000 mAh battery, which can charge the phone up to 51% in 30 minutes. It has NFC for Apple Pay and Google Pay services. There is no IP68 or 65 rating for dust and water resistant. In terms of the colors, they come in sky white, or as in my case, I chose the luminous black, which I think has a beautiful finish. So just to demonstrate that, there we go. I think they call this the iridescent. So basically it means that the color moves in different lights. And again, I'm trying to demonstrate this, probably not very well, but yeah, you get the gist. But it is beautiful when the light hits the back there. It's really nice, really nice. Okay, so moving further along, on the back here we have this little green part here. This is called the O dot, and as you can see, it's very minimal. The reason behind the O dot is to protect your phone when it's laid down There you go. So it prevents scratches. So yes, that's a really good idea. This phone comes with 8 GB of RAM, 128 GB of internal storage. It also comes with Android 9, Color OS 6.1, but is now operating on Android 10, Color OS 7.1 with no lag in performance. I've even heard very recently that someone with the same phone has Android 11. The phone operates on 4G. There is no 5G, but with 5G still in its infancy, this phone will last a few good years yet. For instance, I'm still using my iPhone 6s Plus with no 5G and it's working fine. Okay, so let's take a further look at the phone. So just to the side here, we have the SIM tray, and as you can see, it takes 2 nano SIMs, and there is space for a micro SD card, expandable up to 256 gigabytes. So that's that. Let's push that in. Okay, here where the green is the on/off power button. Okay, so let's move round. So here we have the single speaker, which is not stereo, but it does have Dolby Atmos, which is okay for a mid-range phone. Here we have the port for the USB Type-C. So we have another microphone here. And here is the space for the 3.5mm headphone jack. And then to the side we have the volume rockers. This is up and down. And then up here, just in that section there, houses the pop-up camera, which I'll demonstrate. And then here is a microphone. In terms of protecting your phone, there are numerous cases out there, but for me, I use this one, which slots in nicely like that. And as we can see, it protects the camera on the back. And like I say, you can get them quite cheaply, so it shouldn't be a problem. When it comes to taking a screenshot with this phone, there are 2 options. One option is to place 3 fingers down like this and swipe downwards. Although I do find it tricky, and I'll be honest, 9 out of 10 times I will get it wrong. The other option is to use the sidebar, this white line here, and then if we go down, swipe it to the left, which is the top option, which is the screenshot. And there's a screenshot of the screen, and then it takes it to the left. And that for me works better than the first option. I will say that even using this side option, it doesn't always work well. Typical. Now I'm demonstrating, it works. But those are your 2 options anyway. A useful feature with this phone is accessing the sidebar, which allows one to view their most recent apps without flicking through the phone. So I shall show you how this is done. So if you just to the right here, there's a white bar. If we just hold down, okay, so there we have recent apps that we use. And if we want to change that, just tap on the add here, and then we select from the options here. So in this case, we'll just choose Facebook, and that appears at the bottom there. And once you're done, tap on done, and that's good to go. Just want to take you through the settings on this phone. So just go through them pretty briefly. You've got your aeroplane mode, SIM, Bluetooth, notification bar, status, You can change the display and brightness. Let's just have pop in there, and just for my own purpose, I've got it on dark mode, but you can change that. It says screen brightness. Obviously, the higher you have it, the more drain there is on the battery. So yeah, it's just some key options to have a look at. Also have fingerprint, face and password, which I mentioned earlier. Privacy, location, you can switch that off. Monitor battery. Digital well-being, parental controls, so that's pretty good. Software update, and at the moment it's running on Android 10, color 7.1, and can even app cloner, split screen. This is what I try to demonstrate, not with ease. And yeah, that's pretty much your settings. I think my favorite feature on this phone is the ability to open two apps at the same time. So I shall demonstrate that. So let's pick WhatsApp. Then what we do is at the bottom to the left here, we tap on there. And at the top here, tap that. We select split screen. We choose the second app we want to view. In this case, I should choose this one, Sky Sports. So there we are. We have two apps running side by side. There you go, Sky Sports. It's pretty good. And also you can rotate it to landscape and fully functioning. And obviously if we want to type a message, we can do so. I can confirm it does work. Just trying to find one to demonstrate. So if I want to text someone here, so you can see you have the keyboard and we can type in there. So that's really good. I really like that. If you have an interest in making movies for social media such as Instagram, YouTube, etc., there is a specialist app which you can use on here for your editing, and it's called Soloop. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So this is, let's go to one of my previous projects, choose this one, and as you can see you can trim, filter, subtitle, music. So you've got some options there. So yeah, pretty standard. And then at the top you can change the aspect ratio. So that's always a good option. But having used this myself, I will say it is quite limited, and I find that there are better editing apps out there which are free. So you may want to explore that option, but this is on here and for me it's very basic. On the back of the phone we have the quad camera setup, starting with the 8 megapixel ultra wide lens, followed by the 48 megapixel ultra clear main camera lens, which is made by Sony. Then we have the 2 megapixel mono lens, and lastly the 2 megapixel portrait lens. In addition to all of this, it also sports a 2 megapixel depth sensor. In terms of modes, the camera also has an ultra dark mode, which some expensive flagship phones like the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II costing over £1,000 does not have. In terms of recording, it can record at 1080 at 30 frames per second, which can be increased to 2160 at 60 frames per second if the ultra steady mode is used. So you can see there are some really good specs there for a budget phone. What I'll do is take the phone outside and take some outside footage so you can get an idea, what the quality is like. But before I do that, I just want to have a look at that strip again, because I think it's gorgeous, that iridescent color which changes with light. You can see that is gorgeous. Okay, so here we are within the camera setup. We've got some options here: night mode, video, photo, portrait. More within that section. We have 6 further options: Google Lens, slow motion, sticker, time lapse, expert, and panner. Okay, so let's go back to photo. Within the frame here, we have 4 further options in terms of the lens. So let's start at the bottom with the ultra wide. That's what it looks like. Then the 1x zoom, 2x zoom, and the 5x zoom. And if you just tap down the 5x zoom and just turn the dial, you can stretch it all the way up to 10x zoom. But as you can see, you do lose some of the quality picture, but it is there. And if we turn the dial, we can even push the dial all the way down to 1x zoom. So that's good. Okay, so moving over to the left hand side of the screen for more light, HDR. What's this one? That says dazzle color on. Okay, this one is filters, which appear here. So you've got some other options here, you see on the right. There we are, black and white. Okay, so there's some options there. Take it back to the original. Okay, let's move that for now. And just up here you have the selfie, and up here have some other options. So 48 megapixel timer. We have, oh, this one's a good one. So you can change the aspect ratio 1:1. That's full frame. That's 16:9. That's 4:3. 1:1. That's full. I'm going to leave it at 16:9. Okay. What else do we have? Okay, we have the settings. So here we are in the settings section of the camera, and I will run through some of these options, starting with this volume button. So the volume button can act as the shutter, and for the zoom, obviously location, switch it on. This light effects for selfie timer. You can touch to take a photo. I don't think you can use this option here, use gesture to take photo. I'm not sure how that one, whether that one actually works, to be honest. Grid, yeah. AI scene recognition with the watermark. I tend to switch that off, but you can switch it on. Also location. In terms of the video, as it states here, it can record 4K at 30 frames per second. What it cannot do is record 4K at 60 frames per second. So let's just go in here. So yeah, so now it's on 4K. But if we want to record at 60 frames per second, we'll tap on this 1080, which is the standard, and there we have it, 60 frames per second, 30. So that's something to bear in mind. Okay. In fact, let me go back, leave it on 4K, which was what I have it on. And you can record slow motion at 1080p. And yeah, those are your options within the settings section of the camera. I think there's some really good options there. Again, for a budget phone, yeah, it's really good. For this part of the camera, I have deliberately turned down the lights so that you can see how that 60 megapixel front-facing pop-up camera operates. There we go. Hey, yeah, back here's where the magic happens. Okay, so as you saw, it does light up. You have got a choice of about 10 to 12 different colors. So if that's your thing, there's plenty to play with there. And also, if the phone should drop, the motorized camera will automatically retract. So that's great to know. And with that pop-up camera, it can be operated over 200,000 times. So I'll just demonstrate that again. Pretty cool, huh? Hee. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll take the camera outside and see what it looks like. Here's the footage using the front-facing camera, which is 16 megapixels. So you can adjust the quality. Just to show you the quality of the video footage. So, just to summarize, this mid-range phone has features which are seen on flagship phones at a fraction of the price. Even though it does not have 5G, I cannot fault this phone, so well done to Oppo. The bezel-less screen, due to the pop-up camera, is great for gaming and watching content. The cameras are of good quality with the ability to record 4K at 30 frames per second is fantastic. The build and design, the software, hardware and octa-core processor are pretty good, and I constantly scratch my head at how much I pay for this phone. I accept there are many phones in this price range out there, but this may be one to consider, especially if you're on a budget. Do you have any questions regarding this phone? If so, please do so via the comment section. Lastly, if you have enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button below, which is free, as it helps to grow the channel. A like would also be fantastic. Anyway, my name is Shola. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.